Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmaster since '68. Here's Matt Hayes.
All right, welcome into Bueller Air and Plumbing College Kickoff. Brought to you by Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue, where it's all college football all the time. You're driving down to Gainesville to get an early start in that big game against Texas A&M. We're driving over to Tally to set up for the Memphis game. Lock it in, because we've got you covered for the next, not the next 60 minutes. Special 90-minute version.
We got 30 minutes for the rest of our life.
Thank you, Timmy, of this white-knuckle ride we call college football. We're going to get Timmy to say 90 or 60 or something, man.
You guys have him on primetime all the time. You got to get him to say it for you.
Not only that, he could probably do both of them for us, you know? Kind of like we got Hendu to do a remake of the Come On Joe. You got to slap the blood out of me. We could do something like that. I'm Matt Hayes. He's JJ LaSalve. He's producing it, making it all sound good. And it's week 3. And if you're Florida or Florida State, it's time to get your collective acts together. Frankly, it's must win. Because, and I'll dive deeper into this later, and we'll talk to Rick Ballou in our Seminole report later in the show about it as well. But when you really think about it, I'm not exactly sure which fan base will be more depressed, more in the jar, Sunday after a loss. Florida or Florida State? Now, you might be surprised where I am on this, and I'll explain it later in the show. But we'll definitely want to get your thoughts on this as well after we dissect it. Look, it's easy to get involved. Jump on the text line, brought to you by our good friends at Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. Watch the live stream on 1010XL, 1010XL's YouTube page. And I'm going to have JJ stand up at some point and show you something on his shirt that y'all are going to really love right in front of that 1010XL YouTube page. Little funny little ditty there for JJ. At the end of this first segment, we're going to open up the phone lines, and JJ will take the fourth caller at 641-1010 for our weekly pick segment where you can win a sweet Sonny's swag bag. All you got to do is beat JJ and I in the 5 games we picked so far. We're already 2-0 against y'all. Time for one of you to bring it.
I'm taking no prisoners this year.
I mean,
I'll be honest with you. I'm really 2-0.
Right. I'm
you
probably
finished
0-2 or
winless.
0-1.
Yeah, I believe
I'm terrible so far at picks, man. This show, XLP, anywhere. I'm horrible at picks this year. Last week, our guest picker, by the way, went 0 for the week.
Yeah, Justin. It was a rough go. 0 for 5.
By the way, and when I say sweet Sonny swag bag, this isn't just some kind of hokey little thing we're tossing together. There's like a nice meat thermometer in there and a free Sonny's meal. I mean, this is like a legit swag bag. Pick it up, man. You're 0-2 against us so far. Pick it up. All right, it's the last week before the mega games inside the SEC and Big Ten, the revamped SEC and Big Ten, come to the forefront. There's still plenty of intrigue out there, though. Beginning tonight at 9 on Fox. I'm telling you all, watch this game. It's going to be a blast. Arizona traveling to K-State to play a non-conference Big 12 game. That's right, a non-conference Big 12 game. It was scheduled as a non-con game before the crazy realignment.
8 p.m., by the way.
It's 8? Is that 8 Central or 9?
8 o'clock Eastern, right when we get home.
Okay,
Fox.
8 o'clock. Heck yeah, man. Rolling right into the pad for that one. You kidding me? Anyway, you're going to see 2 really exciting quarterbacks. Avery Johnson at K-State, Noah Fafita at Arizona. A lot of offense in this game. It will be a fun game. Manhattan will be rocking. They get after it in those big games. Alabama plays at Wisconsin at noon on Saturday, and we'll get an idea of the Tide playing on the road for the first time under new coach Kalen DeBoer. BC goes into Missouri. Boston College, who less than 2 weeks ago just physically manhandled Florida State, is a 15.5-point dog at Missouri. Shocking. We've got the 2 leftovers from the Left for Dead Pac-12, which, by the way, isn't dead yet. Oregon State and Washington State playing rivalry games with former Pac-12 rivals Oregon and Washington on the 3rd week of the season. A rivalry game. we'll get into that Pac-12's attempt to stay alive by raiding the Mountain West, too. There's the Backyard Brawl, which is a wildly underrated rivalry game when West Virginia plays at Pitt. There's a couple gut check games out there, too. It's a really sneaky game. Game day's going to South Carolina for the South Carolina LSU game. I mean, South Carolina, I don't care what happened with Kentucky last week. South Carolina's not any good. But for some reason, this is like this big game. And part of me now thinks, is LSU going to get caught in this trap? LSU, which is a much better team than South Carolina. Like, if this game was in Tiger Stadium, they'd be favored by 15, 16.
And it wouldn't be at noon.
No, I wouldn't care when it was played. They'd kill South Carolina. So my point is now, we saw Brian Kelly after that season opening loss against USC. He was ticked off, man. I don't know that I've ever seen him like that after a game. Wait. Another time was Notre Dame in the NC State game, the Hurricane game. Remember when his center couldn't snap the ball? Literally could not snap the ball to the quarterback. They had fumble after fumble after fumble. He was beside himself then. So this time he was, close. Banging his fist on the table. I don't know what I got to do to get these guys, blah, blah, blah. The fact that he's publicly calling out his team, let's see what happens now. Let's see how these guys respond. Notre Dame responded bigly, JJ, after his, I think that season, the bad season was 2017 or 2016. They wrote off or 2017 or 18. They wrote off 4 or 5 or 5 even double-digit win season. They were fantastic after he took a stand. I want to see what happens now when he's taking a stand against his LSU team. They've won 10 games each of the last 2 years. They're clearly a playoff hopeful participant, a favorite, whatever you want to call them. It's going to be a rocking place at Williams-Brice Stadium. There's no doubt about that. But at the end of the day, they're not that good of a team. So that's a little bit of a gut check for LSU. And then, of course, another great gut check game, Deion and the Buffs travel to Colorado State in another rivalry game.
And do you remember last year's? Phenomenal. One of the games of the year.
Well, first off, it was before the game,
too. Whatever the coach of Colorado State is, he was really talking about take your hat off, be respectful,
Norvell.
And take your hat off.
So Norvell's wife,
right?
Norvell's wife said something about Deion's glasses.
Oh, was it glass? Okay,
yes.
His glasses
it
inside.
Was glasses, and I mean, but it was so good because it made the drama before the game, and everything was so hyped up. And ESPN, which is the hype machine, of course, and once Colorado had beaten TCU and they had beaten Nebraska, then it was like full-on hype with Deion and everything Deion did, which is they're kind of there now. They're probably at about a 70% meter, which last year was like 110%. Now we're going to get Colorado State at home. Now that Colorado team that probably should have won that game last year is at home with essentially the same team, and they're a little ticked off. And Colorado's reeling. The Colorado offensive line is atrocious. Shedeur Sanders is phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player. There's no doubt about it. Travis Hunter, the same. Joe Horn's son, Joe Horn Jr., another terrific player. But you're not winning a game with 3 players. You're not. And if you can't protect your quarterback, you are not winning a game. And if Colorado State wins that game, like I think they will, I want to see how long we stay on this Deion hype wagon. It'll be interesting to see that. We got a lot to get into, all right? We know you all go crazy during the week whenever we take a break from Jags talk and hit college football. The dang text line goes crazy with college football talk. So get on board, 641-1010. Give us your thoughts. So let's get into it and get primed for week 3. JJ, let's run out of the tunnel.
Now let's run out of the tunnel. Brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville for all your towing needs.
All right, Out of the Tunnel is brought to you by our good friends at Cannons of Jackson, family-owned and operated towing and custom welding business serving Jacksonville since 1950. You need a trailer hitch installation, top-quality towing products like gooseneck hitches, fifth-wheel hitches, weight distributing and tow bars, all at wholesale prices. Go see Cannons of Jackson. Call them at 904-733-3524. Okay, there is no choice. Desperation now completely outweighs hesitation. If Florida coach Billy Napier has any hope of keeping his job, uber-talented freshman DJ Lagway must be his quarterback from this day forward. Because we've now officially hit an inflection point. No matter what Napier does, the referendum of Miami 41, Florida 17 in week 1 isn't going away. In fact, JJ's got a t-shirt on right now that says later. JJ, stand up. Look at that. If you're on the text line, if you're on the YouTube page, you can see it. Later Gator 41-17. And JJ's throwing up to you. Well done. Well done. And the throat slash from JJ. Well done. Look, that referendum isn't going away. The damage from that rivalry route in front of 90,000 witnesses at the Swamp, the surreal collapse of 8 months of off-season work and optimism, and that proud declaration that this season would be different, will linger for months, if not years. The operational mess, the lack of difference makers on the field, the overwhelmed team in a statement game, the Miami players strutting up the field and taunting elite high school athletes on official visits, daring them to sign with Florida instead of Miami. The shell-shocked look on Napier's face as he trudged off the field, a coach long on frustration and humiliation and short on job security. There's only one way out of this deep and unforgiving hole, people. Play Lagway and show the future. Show what could be. Show fans, show big money boosters, show recruits. Then get out of the way and hope like hell Lagway's rare talent takes over and something special happens. Because at this point, we've seen what Graham Mertz can do as a starter. The Gators aren't beating Texas A&M or Tennessee or Georgia or Texas or Ole Miss or LSU with Mertz. Now, they may not beat Florida State with Mertz. Look, he's a tough, overachieving, good soldier, and the Gators can win with him if everything plays out perfectly. And I think it's pretty clear that there's nothing perfect about Florida under Napier. So how do you fix it, you say? You play Lagway. Again, a rare athlete who's equal parts Anthony Richardson's skill and dynamic ability and Tim Tebow moxie and will. Teammates have raved about him for 8-9 months. They raved about him after he set the freshman record, the Florida passing record, in last week's glorified practice game route of Samford. All offseason, they talked about him and his talent and his work ethic and how they would need him in some form or fashion to win games this season. Little did they know, they'd need him to save it all. It all. After the carnage of week 1. The season, the future, and yes, Napier's job. Now remember, this is where it gets a little dicey here, okay? Florida fired Dan Mullen before the end of 2021, before the end of the season in 2021. Did the same to Jim McElwain in 2017 and Will Muschamp in 2014. Don't think they won't fire Napier, not only before the end of the 2024 season, but maybe before the end of September. And if that's not enough of a track record for you to embrace, consider this. Florida used McElwain's death threat claims to help mitigate his large buyout. The looming NCAA investigation of Florida's recruitment of former high school star Jaden Rashada will absolutely be a negotiating tool to mitigate Napier's $26 million buyout. The difference in those two cases is McElwain was never a fit in Gainesville. His gruff personality rubbing many the wrong way before he ever coached a game. Before he ever coached a single game there. There were many people in the administration that knew they made the wrong choice. Napier's more like Muschamp, where every decision maker at the university desperately wants him to succeed. You know, as he walked off the field after that just absolute gutting loss to Miami, he walked through the end zone, and there was Florida interim president Kent Fox stopping him before he reached the locker room. He was offering him, words of support. It was Fox who hired Napier before retiring in 2022. And Fox would return as interim president when Ben Sass abruptly resigned. You say resigned, I say forced out, in July. And it's Fox who may now have to fire Napier unless something drastically different plays out the remainder of the season. Now, Mertz isn't on the Florida injury report. Napier says both quarterbacks will play against Texas A&M. Napier can continue to play Mertz and hope his natural limitations can be overcome by flawless execution. Again, that plan led to 5 wins in 2023 and that just disaster against Miami. Or he can play the one quarterback who gives the team the best chance to win and save his own job in the process. Lagway changes the way defenses play the Gators. Think about this. His big arm stretching the field and making every throw available. Every throw. He's 6'3", 240 pounds, and he's deceptively quick in the run game. He's also the great unknown. That's the key. Nobody knows anything about him. Now, days after Miami's dismantling of the Gators, think about this. He's the great unknown. No one knows anything about him. Canes defensive coordinator Lance Guidry was asked about preparing for the Florida offense in Mertz. He may as well have cut Napier and left any potential future in Gainesville to bleed out. JJ, hit this.
Last week, going against Florida, of course, we took like their 5 to top 7 plays that showed up in every game. A reverse, the crossing routes, a tailback screen, and just certain things. I'll be dang within the first 10 plays, probably 4 or 5 of them showed up.
My God. You cannot be that predictable. You can't be that predictable in high school football, much less major college football. You can't have 7 or 10 plays that you run over and over and over and expect to win games in the SEC. Now, if you're Mike Leach and you have 7 same plays, which he did, but he ran them out of 70 different formations. So it was very difficult to discern what they were running, which is why he was so successful. How many different formations do you see Florida lining up in? I'm telling you right now, JJ, you and I watch football. We know football, so we know what's coming. There are people out there that don't really watch football that will watch Florida, and they'll know what's coming. They will know what's coming. Against Miami, I'm sitting there watching that game. Person next to me says, first play is going to be one of those reverses to the wide receiver, right? And son of a gun if it wasn't the second play. And this person didn't know anything about football. So you cannot be that predictable. You just can't. Lagway makes you unpredictable. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to throw interceptions. He'll have ball security issues. He'll force throws. He'll check into wrong plays. He won't see the field. He'll miss open receivers. But he'll also do things that Mertz absolutely cannot do. The playbook will expand. The play caller changes his philosophy, hopefully in theory. Play caller being Billy Napier. The quarterback run game becomes a factor. The deep third throws that weren't available with Mertz are a flick of the wrist with Lagway. Long story short, the reward is greater than the risk, especially if it can save a season and save Napier's job. All right, that's it. We're out of the tunnel. You can respond on the text line brought to you by our good friends at Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010, and we'll read a few of your comments. I know you guys are just absolutely beside yourself right now, you Gator fans, and with good, you should be. You should be, considering what's going on and the extent of what's going on and how it looks like the same thing, if not worse than last year. You got a lot to deal with. JJ, am I off at any of this? Your
No,
thoughts?
absolutely not. I agree with 100%. I just said on the Frangie show that if they do start Lagway, I think that they have a way better chance to win, just, based on his athleticism, just what you said. You don't know what you're definitely going to get from this kid. And with Mertz, we've hit that ceiling. We know what it is, and it's probably not good enough to win more than 4 or 5 games this year.
Yeah, I know we got to go to break, but I want to stress this again. I don't at this point. I don't even think it's as much a Mertz issue as it is a Napier issue.
Like play calling for Mertz.
Yeah, I think when you start to really look at this thing, Mertz is limited. There's no doubt he is. But if you stick a limited quarterback in a situation where you're calling the same plays over and over, and you're using this dopey misdirection because you can't block anybody because your offensive line isn't that good, what do you expect? Everybody, you're at the defense. The teams you play as your opponents are going to see you and say, I know what's coming here. I know what's coming here. I know what's coming here. You put Lagway in there, and everything changes. Everything. Because then the quarterback run game is now available. Now, all three levels of the field are available in the pass game.
Also, your locker room is probably pumped for that.
Well, I think, yes.
Don't you think the guys would sort of get a lot more fire if they see, hey, we're throwing Lagway in there. We want to change some things up. I don't know if they're like, ooh, Mertz is back. Like, let's play for Mertz. Maybe. I have no idea. I'm obviously not in that locker room, but I just would imagine that most of these guys would probably get a little bit more excited and play a little bit harder for Lagway, just showing like we're trying to do whatever it takes to change things around here.
So I think they like Mertz, but I think at the end of the day, players are players. They want to win games.
Exactly.
And we say this over and over and over. Players know talent. Don't kid yourself. Those players know Lagway is the talent. They know if they're going to win games, it's going to be with him. That's the whole thing. All right, we see you guys blowing up the text line, 641-1010. We're going to get to that. We're going to take the fourth caller right now, okay? The fourth caller to JJ is going to get an opportunity to win that sweet, sunny swag bag. And believe me, it's a nice swag bag. But y'all got to bring it, man. We are already 2-0 against you guys. All right, we're going to come back on the other side. We're going to get much deeper into Florida, but also into the idea that I said earlier as we opened the show. Which fan base is going to be more in the jar Sunday with a loss, Florida or Florida State? Come back on the other side. We got a lot to do. It's the college football show brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing and Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue.
You saw what happened. Jeff Lageman tells you why it happened.
And here's how you know you're right.
Jeff Lageman checks the tape for you. Tuesday on Jaguars Today. Brought to you by Napa Auto Care.
10 to noon on 1010XL.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
Hey, sports fans, it's Haye Carlyon for MyBookie. Football is back. Winning season is back. MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big, and if it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. But that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for a shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus when you're ready to get started. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Remember, exclusive giveaways and bigger rewards. MyBookie is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make sure your season is a winning one.
Prosser here, and if you are one of the ones that looks at your backyard area living space and thinks, wow, it needs an upgrade, Lifetime Enclosures is having a huge open house sale this Saturday, and boy, can I tell you, they do an awesome job. Anything from glass or screen enclosures to full-on lanais and flooring, all in one place. The place you want to watch sports, enjoy your backyard, and just hang out could be so much better with Lifetime Enclosures. Come on out to Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring this Saturday, all day. You won't regret it.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Everyone's got an opinion, including me. I'm Haye Carlyon, and when things get messy, I step in to clean up. Cleaning Up with Hayes is brought to you by Molly Maid. Afternoons on The Frangie Show on 1010XL.
Okay, listen up, team. They're out to test our reputation as the best plumber in Jax, so we gotta play like the experts we are. When customers call with leaky faucets, broken water heaters, toilet repairs, broken pipes, or any other challenge, we'll give them the solution fast. Now, who are we?
Roland Reese Plumbing!
I can't hear you.
Roland Reese Plumbing!
Now that's what a winner sounds like. Customers always win with Roland Reese Plumbing at plumberinjacks.com.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 through October 26th at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra, Preferred PT in Fleming Island, and also at Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and Brooks Rehab at World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is the Bueller Aaron Plumbing College Kickoff. Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue on 1010XL.
All right, we're back. The College Kickoff brought to you by Bueller Aaron Plumbing and, of course, Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue. If you're on your way to Gainesville or Tally, stop by. Let's see, there's a Sonny's on Lane. There's a Sonny's on Atlantic.
My God, everywhere.
Pick up some ribs.
Between here and Gainesville, there's probably like 47
brisket,
Sonny's.
Right? Sausage, turkey. What do they have? Those redneck. Those were Hacker's favorite. But before the awakening, it was the redneck egg rolls.
Oof.
Oh, my gosh. Those are just phenomenal.
Hack used to be able to put those away.
Away. All right, so we've been talking about the Gators and DJ Lagway. And I know Frangie brought up earlier in his show about, who would Florida go after. We can get into that a little later, too. But I wanted to kind of take a side road of sorts here and ask this unique question of y'all. Get your response in the text line. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. You're already hitting it up. But I want to get into a little unique scenario here, okay? At this point at Florida, it's almost baked into the cake. A team, a program, full of problems. The end seems inevitable, right? At Florida State, this is all new territory. New anger, new angst. All that stuff they thought they left behind long ago in the wake of that 19-game win streak. Y'all remember those unsettling times? The ineptitude of the Willie Taggart era? Remember when the Florida DB was screaming at the Florida State sideline, "Y'all are one short!" When Florida State had 10 guys out on offense when they were in the red zone against Florida. I think it was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson that was doing. He was screaming at him, "You're one short," pointing to where the wide receiver should be. Y'all remember that, man. Then the uneasiness of the first 2 seasons under Mike Norvell, the COVID year, he couldn't see his players till like June. It took a while for them to get things, just for everybody to start being on the same page. There was a lot of uneasiness there too, man, a lot. Then the turn in 2022 and the move to the Nations Elite in 2023. They're keeping Norvell from leaving for Alabama, paying him like a top 10 coach. Everybody and everything feeling good about everything Garnet and Gold, except, Kirk Herbstreit and ESPN and getting hosed. And then Georgia Tech beats the Noles to begin this season in Ireland. The Georgia Tech team that a week later lost to a truly bad Syracuse team. And then Boston College rolls in on Labor Day night into Tallahassee. New coach Bill O'Brien. Old coach got fired for a reason, by the way. They weren't winning games. They get in that game and they bullied FSU. That game was a rout. It wasn't that close. They were 3 plays away from scoring 42 at least on Florida State. At least. So now here you are. And here comes Memphis. Strong group of 5 school. But a team that has no business going into Doak Campbell Stadium and winning that game. Quarterback Seth Hannigan is a good player. They've got some strong skill players. But they can't compete on the lines of scrimmage with FSU. They can't line up and trade blows, control the clock with game-consuming drives, or get off the field on 3rd down and have a chance to win in the 4th quarter. But if we're sitting there Saturday in the early afternoon, and if Memphis somehow finds a way to walk out of Tallahassee with a win, and FSU begins the season 0-3, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Nole fans will be much more upset than Gator fans on Sunday morning, no matter what happens in Gainesville. I don't care if Florida loses 40-3. If the Noles can't beat Memphis, boy, oh boy, let me tell you something. Remember, no matter what happens at Florida, no matter how badly the Gators lose, the fans see the horizon line. It's there. And they know they'll be rebooting the program again with another coach and another philosophy and another culture. I love that, culture. And another nonsensical statement of, you got to give the coach time to build it. All that stuff FSU believed deep in their soul they had left far, far behind in the rear view. Only now, with the loss to Memphis, it'll return like bad agita. In fact, JJ, maybe that's what we'll call DJU. Bad agita.
I'm not even sure what that is.
It's heartburn.
Okay.
It's just replaying. You eat something that's so bad it just continues to replay on you. It comes up.
Do you think by the time, let's just say, Miami, Florida State comes around in like a month or so, that he will be the starting quarterback of Florida State?
I'm not sure he's going to be the starting quarterback of Florida State after the first series tomorrow.
Really?
Yes. We were talking about an inflection point in Florida. We are at an inflection point in Florida State right now. And we're going to talk to Ballou in about 10 minutes. Rick Ballou with the Summer Report, the truth teller. You hear him every night here on 1010XL. Ballou into the night. I got a feeling Ballou is going to agree with me. I got a feeling he's going to agree with me. We are at an inflection point right now at Florida State. Because, look, think about this. Am I off here, Florida State fans? I feel like there are a lot of uneasy Nole fans right now. There are Nole graduates in my family. And they're not happy in any way, shape, or form with what's playing out. They want the dang thing fixed. They're paying the guy $10 million. And he chose DJU. We're going to start calling him Bad Agita. That's going to be his new name. He chose DJ Uiagalelei as his quarterback. Remember, Cam Moore was out there. Now, Cam Moore was trying to get the highest dollar, and I respect him for that. Why not? Why not do that? He was playing Florida State. He was playing Ohio State. He had numerous teams he was playing. And then John Ruiz, opened up the live wallet cash at Miami, and there you go. And I respect the hell out of him for that. Why not? Why not? Because the players have been on the short end of this thing for so long in college football. Why not? Okay? So he chose DJU. And quite frankly, if DJU struggles again this week, I refuse to believe that Brock Glenn or Luke Kromenhoek wouldn't be an upgrade. I just refuse to believe that at this point. No matter what you do, you put a guy in there, he cannot be any worse than what we've seen. So if you're a Noel fan and you're watching that game tomorrow and suddenly it's the fourth quarter and Memphis is in with striking distance and then all of a sudden they walk away, oh, man, they walk away with that dub. No, it's not going to be good. I cannot even imagine the just absolute insanity that will ensue within the fan base. It's not going to be good. I will tell you that right now. It is not going to be good. That's a big game. It's a game Florida State should win simply because they're the bigger, stronger, and faster team.
6.5-point favorites, high noon, ESPN. Quickly, one thing I have to go back to. I think Syracuse is pretty good. I know that was like a throwaway comment, but like you said, a bad Syracuse team. I don't agree with that. I think at the end of the year, we'll be looking at Syracuse as like a 9-win team series.
Or
I'm just gonna Kyle McCord.
And I'm just gonna. I think I'm very happy for Kyle McCord because he got the short end of that Ohio State deal. They blamed him for everything. Or at the end of the year, both Georgia Tech and Syracuse suck. How about that?
That could be very.
How about that? Okay, that could very easily be that. All right. So I just. It's I think we're at a very uneasy time right now at Florida State. And this is the game where I think you've got to say, all right, we're drawing the line in the sand. No more of this fooling around. We're going to win one way or the other. If that means DJU is finally going to find himself and things will get straightened out, or, you know what, we're going to put Brock Glenn in there. And here's the thing. They were at the flex field with the Jaguars preseason. Brock Glenn looked pretty good, man. He's got a good arm. I think Luke Kromenhoek is probably the future there. Kromenhoek, however you say it. He's the future there, but Brock Glenn has got a good arm. I'm telling you right now, JJ, Brock Glenn is one of those guys who he's not going to win the job, okay? And then 2 years from now, he's going to be playing somewhere, let's say like Texas Tech, and he's going to have 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns. You're going to go, wow, that dude, why didn't Florida State use him? He's one of those guys
Was
that...
he the one who played against the Gators last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got a good arm, and he's athletic. And, I think this is it. I think this is game 3, man. This is the last chance for DJU. This is it. If he struggles again during the game, whenever, he's going to get pulled, and they're going to move forward because you can't. If you're Mike Norvell, you cannot continue to do the wrong thing over and over and over because right now, the way it looks, playing him is the wrong thing. You cannot do that. And even if they barely beat Memphis and he plays poorly, but they barely beat Memphis, I'm not sure going into your game at home against Cal, which clearly is a lot better than people think, either that or Auburn's terrible, that you don't start to think, well, maybe we should look at Brock Glenn for the Cal game. All right, we're going to get into all that with Rick Ballou. We'll bring him up after we go to a break. We're going to hit a break here, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. We need to go to break. We're going to come back on the college kickoff brought to you by Bueller Aaron Plumbing and Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue. Come back on the other side.
There's a lot more to it than a tight spiral and an accurate pass.
Everyone agrees that playing quarterback is the hardest thing to do in sports.
Denny Thompson is the Quarterback Whisperer. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet. Friday mornings on The Drill.
Do the Garber Wiggle, Garber Wiggle, Wiggle Wiggle, Garber Wiggle.
If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber Wiggle, Garber Wiggle, Wiggle Wiggle, Garber Wiggle.
former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. The seasons are shifting, but we're not done with the summer heat just yet. And you better believe your AC is still working hard. So do what I did and call the good folks at Fenwick Home Services and stay stress-free with a seasonal tune-up. Don't wait until the wear and tear of the summer heat causes major issues. Book your tune-up with Fenwick's expert technicians to avoid those costly breakdowns. You can trust Fenwick to get your AC running again and get it done right the first time. Book online at FenwickHomeservices.com.
I've known Glenn Cohen for a long time as a friend and a lawyer. Persistent and fair, Glenn and his firm have represented clients from North Florida and South Georgia for over 40 years in all kinds of personal injury cases. If I had such a case, call Glenn at Barnes, Cohen, and Sullivan.
All right, here we go.
Former Jaguars QB David Garrard joins Jaguars Today to talk Jags.
All right, guys.
Mondays on 1010XL.
Let's go, Googans. Let's go, Googans.
Brought to you by WaterboyJax.com.
What is that?
Jags fans, our holiday pack is back with a special edition.
Trevor Lawrence touchdown!
For the first time, get a limited edition Trevor Lawrence bobblehead plus a ticket to one of our December home games starting at $78. Wow! Whether you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift or want the one-of-a-kind bobblehead for yourself, grab a holiday pack today by going to Jaguars.com/bobblehead or call 904-633-2000 now.
Make your dream of living in luxury a reality in Lennar's newest 55 and up active adult community, Edenbrook at Highland Trail. Located in the heart of Green Cove Springs, Edenbrook offers world-class amenities with a dedicated activities director and homes starting in the high 300s, with rates as low as 3.99% and up to $50,000 in flex cash on our new Edenbrook homes. The time to buy is now. Call 904-643-3750 to find out more. Your life of luxury awaits in Edenbrook at Highland Trail by Lennar.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. College football on the Bueller Air and Plumbing College Kickoff. Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue on 1010XL.
All right, we're back. We see y'all. You're blowing up the text line, and we love it. 641-1010. We'll read a couple real quick from the 629. There's no guarantee Lagway's going to stay at Florida after this year, so he might be the answer this year. He's not their golden child. He could leave. He absolutely could leave. I also think that he's probably going to wait and see what happens. So my guess is if Florida hires Lane Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin would take that job in a heartbeat. If Florida hires Lane Kiffin, then I think he stays. Now, if Florida does, I don't know, like a Jim McElwain top hire, then he's going to leave. There's no doubt about that. So that's, we'll see. We got a long way to go before that. We got, as my buddy says, there's a lot of green left in that putt. All right, let's bring on the truth teller because I want to ask him about my little theory.
Now, the Seminole Point of View with Rick Ballou. Brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard. Dream it, drive it.
All right, you hear him every night on Ballou, and tonight, the truth teller. Ballou, I'm going to throw this out for you, and I want you to answer this for me. Let's say both Florida and Florida State lose this weekend.
No, I don't like it.
Hang on, just hang on. Which fan base is more depressed, more in the jar, Florida or Florida State?
Florida State. Absolutely.
there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You got Lane Kiffin or someone else waiting. I think some of the Florida fans will be like, okay, let's, don't win enough to keep him around if you've already decided he's not the answer. I mean, don't win 5-6 games, get a big win. So you're like, all right, you got your quarterback. He's going to stay with Napier. You've given this guy in Tallahassee, man, $84 million guaranteed. You lose to where he came from with the expectations that went into this year. I'm going to say it's Florida State.
And I know this is going to sound crazy, okay? But they lose this game, Rick, and there's going to be some of those same murmurs about, what's going on here with Norvell, as it were in the first 2 seasons before they made the turn in 2022. Am I not right there?
No, you are. I mean, he won 10 games in 2022, but he also had a 3-game losing streak. And I got a long memory. There were a lot of Florida State fans that were contacting me saying, what's the buyout for Mike Norvell? Yeah. And, what I love about fans is that they're never wrong. I mean, they can say whatever they want and all the power to them. But then he ran off 19 in a row. And, I wouldn't have given him the new contract. I understand they had to because, you had the Alabama, I guess nibbles or who knows what really went on there. But,
right.
I mean, you're in a marriage here. You can't get out of this thing.
No.
Okay? I mean, you're in for a long period of time. And, I hope Florida State just wakes up tomorrow and puts on a dominant performance. And all of a sudden, they are able to put on, at least somewhat of a little bit of a run here because he's got to improve the recruiting. He lost 2 major defensive players a week ago. And I think it's an off season, Matt, where he's going to have to really look in the mirror and make some changes. He's got to make some changes with that coaching staff. The transfer portal worked for him beginning with Jermaine Johnson, and it worked in 2022 and 2023. It has not worked so far in 2024. The lifeblood of any college football program is recruiting out of high schools, and that is where Mike Norvell has to get better.
So, first off, I think they're going to play really well tomorrow, and
I do too.
I think they're going to win.
I do too.
But even if they do play well, Rick, okay, and even if it looks good and it's 35-3, there's still got to be some hesitation going into that Cal game. If DJU is the guy, or now JJ and I are going to start calling him DJ Ajita, if he's the guy or not, right? I mean, you can't be sold on him yet, right?
No, there's no way. But, make it a little bit easier on the guy. Let's, run the football. This is supposed to be a backfield that was very promising. They had 2 carries in the first half. It was just, how do you do that? 2 carries in 30 minutes of football. And, last week, Matt, this, they had 7 drops. You had 2 by Toafili, who's arguably their best offensive player. And you had 3 by Kyle Morlock. I don't think he dropped 3 balls all of last year. So it was just a major funk for them. I don't know if it was a hangover after the Georgia Tech loss or what happened, but, I expected this offense. I know they lost a lot of great players to the NFL, but I expected them to still be able to do some really good things this year because I was a believer that, Mike Norvell was somewhat of an offensive genius that was going to be able to find ways to get his players the football and they'd be able to score points.
I can tell you what's really shocked me. I think we all kind of knew what DJU was, and, we all said it for months. He is who he is, and we all kind of hoped that Mike Norvell would work some magic with him, because he developed him. Let's be honest. Jordan Travis was a great college player, but Mike Norvell was part of that development, so you got to give him credit for that. Now, I think the thing that's really shocked me more than anything more than that is the defense. I'm shocked at how that defense that you and I sat there on that flex field and watched, the athletes they have in that team, the size and the speed they have in that team has not been more dominant, has not made big plays, has not forced turnovers, has not forced those game-turning plays, has not sucked the momentum out of opponents that think they have a chance to beat them. What's going on with that defense in Adam Fuller right now?
See, in my opinion, that's been more of a disappointment than DJU. It has. I thought Patrick Payton had a chance to play himself into the first round. Joshua Farmer last year just absolutely stepped in and took plays away from Lovett and made himself next to Fisk, the better tackle. Darius Washington just has not looked the part. He is, it hasn't worked for him on the defensive line. And, Marvin Jones Jr. is the guy that, Darrell Jackson, I should say, excuse me. I was thinking of Washington, their left tackle. And it hasn't worked so far with Marvin Jones Jr. Now,
no, he's
the rumors that those four made a combined $2.5 million on NIL. $2.5 million. And it feels like to me like they're playing not to get hurt. It feels like to me that they're all this year and they're done. All four go to the NFL. But you know this, Matt. The tape doesn't lie. And outside of bad character, the worst thing that you can have hanging over your shoulders as you go to the NFL is that you take plays off and that you're not giving 110%. In some aspects, that's even worse than bad character because we know in the NFL that if you're a really, really good player and you have bad character, that doesn't matter, okay? It just doesn't. So that's been the real problem, and this is an even bigger problem. And it's Randy Shannon, who's been considered a really good coach, but he's a terrible recruiter. That is that is by far the worst linebacking core I have ever seen at Florida State. And that's not embellishment. That is not exaggeration. That is a terrible linebacking core. Not one of those guys can do anything, and that's been evident the first two games.
The thing is Peyton has tape. Marvin Jones has no tape.
I know.
Nothing. Now he's a draft eligible junior. He has nothing. Nothing at Georgia. Nothing at Florida State. What's he waiting for? I mean, DJ Lundy is not. What happened to DJ Lundy?
Well, DJ Lundy put the Noles on hostage. He got up and he left and said he was going to go to Colorado, and they paid him more. He looks overfed. He looks slow. He's a decent run linebacker. He's never been good in coverage. They miss Tatum Bethune. They miss Kalen DeLoach.
Yeah, they do.
Marvin Jones Jr., this is a shock to me. You look at him. He is the part. And, I sat with your afternoon colleague, Leon Searcy, and his dad, Marvin Jones, Shade Tree. And this was when he was in town a few months ago to coach an Arena League football game. And we were talking all about his son and his teammates, and all the right things were being said. I mean, the attitude was right. The off-season workouts were right. I don't have an answer as to why this thing is completely falling apart, and I just think Florida State fans hope tomorrow that, they've had to deal with this now for almost 2 weeks after, that Monday night loss. And they've had two games in front of a nationally televised audience, and they were the only game on. They lost them both as double-digit favorites. If that can't motivate you tomorrow, then this team is really looking at an awful season.
Yeah, I mean, look, we began this season thinking, all right, this is this schedule, you can navigate this thing. It's not that difficult. You could get there, and everything's cool. And now you start looking at this schedule, and Cal doesn't look so easy after what they did to Auburn. But again, I said earlier, Auburn could be terrible. But you got to go on the road to SMU. You got to play Clemson, which now, Kay Klubnik, once he got away from Georgia's menacing defense, looks like he knows what he's doing. You got to go play at Miami. You got to play at Notre Dame, which at that point is going to be desperate to win after the loss to NIU. There's a lot of potholes on this schedule that could lead to a very ugly season, could it not?
There's no doubt. And, Miami looks far and away the best team. We've seen that everyone else is flawed, and that would be the encouraging side of this. I'm not saying it's 1989 when they lost to Lord Favre here in Jacksonville and Southern Miss, and then Terry Allen and Clemson a week later, and they went out and beat everyone and were arguably the best team in college football. I'm not going there, but every team that you mentioned, I think, is beatable by an above-average team. Now, the problem is that Florida State right now is nowhere near an above-average team. Miami looks like, a massive task that is undoable right here on the 13th day of September. But everyone else, if these guys get their act together, play hard, coach right, make the right coaching decisions. Again, total panic by Mike Norvell last week. We talked about Doug Peterson, 4th and 1 from his 32. You're down by a possession, and you do that on your side of the field against Boston College. I mean, that's coaching tight. And when you coach tight and you panic, I think that rubs off on college football players. You may have the best punter in college football. Use him as a weapon. And I know you had to throw your defense back out there against a team that was running it well, but there's a lot of different ways that you can point and say that was a mistake, that was a mistake, that was a mistake. So, right now, Matt, they just need to win a game.
Yeah.
They need to knock off Memphis. And you and I know, and everyone listening knows, that Memphis has a chance with, like, Boise State. They legitimately have a chance to win and get that, fifth conference title. They won't get a bye, but they'll get that automatic entry
to the playoff,
into a college football playoff. And this is one that those folks at Memphis have had circled since the schedule came out. No one in Tallahassee circled Memphis, so that always plays a big part into it in the great sport of college football.
All right, you like the Noles, I like the Noles. Listen, man, we appreciate the breakdown. We will talk to you next week on the Seminole Report.
Matt, thanks as always. Have a great weekend.
All right, there he goes, Rick Ballou. Before we go to break, I just want to say one thing. The Noles against Boston College 2 weeks ago, their running backs ran the ball 8 times. 8 times. DJ threw the ball 42 times. If that happens again against Memphis, they're going to lose. All right, let's go to a break. We're going to come back on the other side, get into some picks. It's the College Kickoff, brought to you by our good friends at Bueller Aaron Plumbing and Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue.
Jags head coach Doug Peterson tells you what you need to know about Sunday's game.
They believe in themselves. They believe in his team.
Fridays at 4:05 on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, Custom Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Hey, John, my dad, Randy Marion's gone absolute Cadillac crazy. You won't believe our Escalade lineup.
Well, how crazy we talking, Jennifer?
Buckle up, folks. We've got over 35 Cadillac Escalades.
35 Escalades? That's luxury overload.
I'm talking fully loaded models, cutting-edge tech, and that signature Cadillac style.
And the deals are even more luxurious. $4,000 Escalade loyalty rebate.
Plus 5% off MSRP on retired courtesy vehicles. Head to Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Plus tax tag title $899 MNP and resistol.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core can also remodel your old pool deck and beautiful new pavers. Make your backyard wishes a reality. Visit Stone Core on Phillips Highway and let's get started at stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Are your toilets flushing slow? Shower drain starting to back up? Bad smells? These are all major signs that your septic tank needs to be pumped out. Call Duck Rooter to schedule today. The EPA recommends you get your septic tank pumped out every 3 years. Call now if it's due. 904-862-6769. Duck Rooter is Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor that is fully insured. See our Google reviews. Visit duckrooter.com. 904-862-6769.
Sometimes you agree with him, sometimes you don't.
On the runway, I'm coming in hot.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Franchi Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Hey, sports fans, it's Haye Carlion for MyBookie. Football is back. Winning season is back. MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big, and if it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. But that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for a shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus when you're ready to get started. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Remember, exclusive giveaways and bigger rewards. MyBookie is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make sure your season is a winning one.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 through October 26th at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra. Preferred PT in Fleming Island, and also at Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and Brooks Rehab at World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine.
Not fun.
Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. College football on the Bueller Air and Plumbing College Kickoff. Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue on 1010XL.
All right, we're back. One more segment to go before we lead you into the rivalry. Bishop Kenny versus Bowles. At Bowles, we got Bowles, I believe, on the AM, the 1010.
Correct.
Bishop Kenny on the FM, 92.5. You get both of them. They're going to be tight quarters there in that Bowles press box. We might get a little cross play-by-play, actually. Could be a 4-man group, huh? All right, we're going to get into some picks. We've got Jeff on the line. Jeff, you got to bring it, bro. Right now, it's JJ and I are 2-0. I should say JJ's 2-0 because I'm terrible.
Yeah, I'll go through the standings quickly. I am 6-4 against the spread. The callers are 3-7 against the spread, and Matt is 2-8. So once again, if you beat both of us, then you get a Sonny's prize package.
It's sweet. Let's hit it, man. Let's get
All
right
right
away.
Let's start high noon in Wisconsin. Hello, Jeff, by the way.
Hey, JJ.
Nice.
Hey.
All right.
Good luck, Jeff. Good luck.
So I'll give you the first pick, Jeff. Bama at Wisconsin. Alabama on the road, a 16.5-point favorite. Who you got?
I got Bama by 10.
All right, so you're taking Wisconsin?
Taking Wisconsin in the points, okay.
Maddie?
It's way too many points. Way too many points for the first road game under Kalen Moore. I think Alabama's going to win, but that's 16.5. I will take the 16.5 in Wisconsin.
I'm taking Alabama because of one reason. Tyler Van Dyke.
That's your Kane bitterness, man. You cannot let it go.
All right, all these games are pretty early, actually. So let's do another noon kickoff. LSU at South Carolina. This is actually where College Game Day is. Don't ask me why. But they are there first time in over a decade, I believe. Jeff, LSU is a 5.5-point favorite on the road at South Carolina. Who you got?
I got LSU. They'll cover that.
All right.
I am scared as hell of this game, man. I'll tell you that. And I'll tell you why ESPN's there is because they would be in Camp Randall, but they're not going to be the same place Fox is at. There's no way. Those two game shows will never be at the same place.
Which is a shame because I remember the days of like game day being at the best game.
Right.
Didn't matter what network it was on, but that changed probably like 5 or 6 years ago. It seems like they're only at ESPN games now.
Yeah, and by the way, the Big Noon's way better than the game day. Big
like
Noon
the
kickoff.
show?
Yeah, it's way better.
It's got herbs.
It's way
Enough
better.
said.
It does. I mean, herb in and of itself makes it better. I think LSU's going to win the game. This game scares the hell out of me. I'm going to take South Carolina the points.
Wow. All right, I'm taking a LSU. I think they'll win by a touchdown. All right. This is a 12:45 kickoff on the SEC Network. The historic 12:45 kickoff time. Everyone knows that. Boston College, undefeated, on the road at Missouri, another undefeated team, a top 10 team, Missouri. All right, Jeff, Boston College is a 15.5-point underdog on the road to Missouri. Who you got?
I got BC.
All right.
And it'll be about a 7-point differential.
All right, I like that pick.
All right, so you're taking the points then is what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll just tell you right now. I'm taking BC. I like Missouri to win, but BC to cover.
No, I'm saying Jeff is taking the points.
Same.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. You know what? This is one of those Vegas knows something games. That thing looks way too big.
Right.
It looks way too big.
So you're taking the
I'm
Tigers.
taking Missouri, and I'm laying the points,
right.
yeah. Not only that, we are completely giving Jeff a chance to win this thing, all right?
Good. It's about damn time.
Right.
All right, let's leave these last two Florida games. Let's do Memphis first. So Memphis at FSU, high noon, ESPN. FSU at home, Jeff, is a 6.5-point favorite.
They're going to cover the points, and they'll beat them by probably 20, 30.
All right.
All right. So, first off, you got to send me like a copy of this. I would drive around listening to this music. Just different fight song after different fight song after different fight song. Yes. You kidding me?
I love it too.
Fight on for victory. Yes. Golly. By the way, that's a great game next week. USC at Michigan. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a great game.
It'll
until
still
I
be
watched
good.
Michigan last week.
It'll still be good.
I hope.
It'll be good. I guarantee Michigan plays much better. All right. I actually think the Noles are going to blow them out. I do. Okay. I really do. I think the Noles are going to be focused. I don't know if it's going to be with DJU or with Brock Glenn or whoever. I think they're going to play really well. I think it's going to be like a 31-10 game. I'm taking the Noles.
I disagree in a blowout, but I agree with the pick because I like the Seminoles by 7, just barely covering the spread. So we all got FSU on that one. And last but certainly not least, this is another big one, man. Like Memphis FSU might not seem like a huge game, but around here it definitely is. And to me, Texas A&M at Florida is massive with the coaching implications, the quarterback implications, everything going on there. Texas A&M, Jeff, is a 3.5-point favorite on the road in Gainesville. Who you got?
I got the Gators winning by 7.
Nice.
Wow.
Win straight up.
Wow, straight up win. That's impressive. I think DJ Lagway is going to play well, but I don't think they're going to win. And I think A&M covers as well, so I'll take A&M.
I've been saying it all week. I think Lagway plays a lot. He eventually takes over as the guy, and the Gators win this game. I just was so unimpressed by Texas A&M's offense against Notre Dame, thinking Notre Dame might be good, and then watching them last week and being like, what the hell's good? So I just like Florida in this game. I think Florida wins at home, and the talk around Billy gets very interesting if that happens. And those are the picks. Good luck,
All right, Jeff. Good luck, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I like where you're headed, JJ. I like the thought of it. Because, I mean, Neighbor's a good dude. I wouldn't mind seeing him succeed, but it's so bad right now.
I don't care either way. I just
so
think,
bad
like,
right
if
now.
he wins this game, they beat Mississippi State, they beat UCF, like,
then
the
you're
talk's
looking
starting to
at
die
4-1.
down a little bit, especially if Lagway's the starter at this point and he's looking good.
By the way,
you're like, why do you want to fire a guy who maybe Lagway would leave if you fire him?
Just FYI, you got to get through Kentucky before you get to UCF, okay?
Kentucky sucks.
Don't forget about the program.
They do seem to always beat Florida.
Always. So do not forget about the program. So to your point, let's say they win this game, okay, and they go to 2-1. You go on that's not going to be an easy game at Mississippi State. I don't know. I know Mississippi State's not that good, but it's a road game in a league, and that's a loud place.
They'll be
an 11 a.m. local kick. It'll be a tough spot for
Florida would be favored to win.
So UCF is before Kentucky. I apologize. Okay. So let's just say if they win there, they're 3-1. Then they beat UCF. Which, oh, by the way, let's just not just say then they beat UCF, because the last time they played, UCF won. All right, let's not forget that either. So then you go to 4-1, and then you got Tennessee on the road, and then that's 4-2. Then let's say you beat Kentucky at home. You're 5-2. You're going to Georgia. You're feeling good. You're thinking about all those old Gator teams that are thinking there may be an upset here. You're feeling good about it, and then you just get absolutely annihilated by Georgia, and I think that's where it ends. And speaking of Georgia, by the way, before we go here, Georgia's in the news. Earlier today, we learned that, and I know this is going to shock you guys, yet another Georgia player was arrested Thursday night for reckless driving, speeding and reckless driving. This time it's backup corner Daniel Harris, who's a good player, by the way. Really good player. In fact, he'd start for a lot of teams. It's an area where Georgia's loaded corner. I mean, where's Georgia not loaded, right? But he's a good player, Daniel Harris.
He was going 106 in a 50
I was getting
zone
there. You just blew it for me. I was getting there, man. So this is a guy who clearly should have known better, though. I mean, you're talking about, especially after watching Kirby Smart suspend Trevor Etienne for the season opener against Clemson for the DUI / reckless driving / racing, everything he was doing, okay? But Harris, according to the police, was clocked at 106 miles an hour in the rain, passing two cars. That's, are you ready for this? 41 miles over the speed limit in a Jeep Cherokee. Okay? So a lot of you guys who, and I've heard Georgia fans say this, well, you know, these guys, they get these NIL deals and they buy these Dodge Chargers and they try and act like it's...
They're in a Lambo.
He's in a Jeep flipping Cherokee and he's doing 106, okay? It has nothing to do with cars or they're trying to act like the movie Fast and Furious. They're doing it because, and I know this is going to shock you again, they're allowed to do it. That's the whole thing, okay? Since Devin Willock and a Georgia staffer were both killed while racing, and somehow this is still just out in there too. They were racing Jalen Carter. They both died. Since that night in January of 2023, they've had more than 20 speeding / reckless driving / racing offenses, arrests at Georgia. More than 20. Since one of their own players died. Now, there's no word yet whether Harris is going to make the trip to Lexington for this huge game against Kentucky, which lost by 26 to South Carolina last week, a bad South Carolina team. My guess is he'll be suspended. All right? But look, until Kirby finally says the next guy that does this is off the team, it's not going to stop. Because these guys don't care. They get a speeding ticket, they'll sit out a game, they'll come back. They don't care. That's what it is. And that, to me, I think, is it's the unnerving part for everyone outside of that bubble in Athens, that this stuff just continues to happen and there's no ramifications. And when you're on top, believe me, and this is the famous Mac Brown saying, by the way, the higher you are on the ladder, the more your ass shows. And when you're Georgia and you're high up on that ladder, every single little thing you do is going to be magnified. And again, as long as you keep winning, that's fine. It's not a problem. But at some point, you stop winning, or you have a slip here or there, or heaven forbid your best player gets injured and you're playing a backup, and all of a sudden you're losing 4 or 5 games in a season, then those problems with speeding will come to the forefront, because that's how it always is. That's how it always is. You win, ignore, and then once you start to lose, then all of a sudden, all that crap comes to the forefront. All of it. All right. Travel safely to Gainesville. Travel safely to Tallahassee. Let's hope we get the W. Let's hope we're not talking next week about both of them losing and which one of you fan bases is in the jar worse. Eat a lot, drink a lot, be safe, everybody. We'll see you next week.